How to eliminate flutter on your Apprentice S trainer from eFlight. This has been a problem with a lot of people, and I'm not going to go into showing you the actual flutter. Either you've experienced it or you've seen other videos with the flutter. First thing to consider, when you put the kit screws under here that hold the whole tail assembly together, I have seen sometimes that they're not fully tight. When you tighten those screws, you will feel your screwdriver stop. It will come to a full stop when they're tightened all the way. Make sure they're tightened all the way so that you don't have excessive play here. If you look right here particularly, these screws are in all the way, but I still have some excessive play there. So to apply a little hot glue on both sides. Now in a minute you'll see that that has eliminated the excess play. Now that our glue is dried, you'll see that that excess play that was in there is completely gone now. So that's the first thing. The other thing you want to be aware of is back here where this horn attaches. Sometimes, especially if your plane's been flying for a long time, this can weaken where the styrofoam is. Mine's still good and strong, and this plane's had probably 70, 80 flights. If it's weak right there because the styrofoam's starting to give, I have seen a video where someone hot glued a popsicle stick underneath, took the horn off, took the screws out of the horn, glued the popsicle stick underneath, then screwed it back into the wood, and that beefed up the whole thing. If you do that, back here in the tail, you may have to cut out just a little piece of the styrofoam so that the travel up and down isn't restricted by the popsicle stick. You can cut just a little bit of the foam out. That won't hurt anything, but mine seems fine. What I want to eliminate is, you'll see if I hold the body, you got a lot of play here. You've got a lot of play here. These can also bend this way. So I want to take all that slop out of there. And I'm going to do it with some rods. Now, these are survey rods. You can see they're fairly flexible and easy to work with. I suppose you could use a thin coat hanger rod, although it would add a little bit more weight and wouldn't be quite as easy to work with. But any thin metal rod, these work pretty good, even though they flex a little bit once they're on here. It provides a rigid structure. And certainly it's going to eliminate that and a lot of that same thing in the tail. I got these at Lowe's. They come in a pack of maybe 25 or 50. What you want to do is take this, take your pair of pliers or something similar to this, and make it a little bit longer and cut off the end. I'm going to do it, make two of them. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend, no big deal on the angle, just some angle on the end, so that when I hot glue it there, I've got something to hot glue. I'll do the same thing to the other one. Not too critical about the angle. It's something when I have it on the plane, it gives me something to hot glue. Okay, right here is where I want to make another bend, so I'll put my finger there. I'll make another bend. Now because this is easy to bend, I can do this with my fingers. And what I want to end up with is something like this. And see how this is coming flat down the tail? Okay, I don't necessarily need that long, so I'm going to cut a little length off. I want enough that I can glue on. So that's one side. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. This rod, bend it about up here. Don't even really need the pliers, it's so thin. Come up here. I'll make this bend enough so it's flat on the side of the tail. Okay. Now I've got two pieces. This is still longer than I need, so I'm going to cut it off a little bit. Just want enough that I can make some contact with my hot glue. Now that I've got both these pieces on here, I'm going to take my hot glue gun. I'm going to hold it here, make sure this is flat, and apply some hot glue. Leave it there long enough for it to kind of firm up. Going to do the same thing to the other side. Make this where it's flat on this side. Apply some hot glue. Hold it kind of flat while it hardens. Once the hot glue is hardened down here and over here, pull your two rods together and apply some hot glue up there and along where the rod comes down on the side. And let that dry. 5 to 10 minutes. Now, once your hot glue is dried, about 5 or 10 minutes, this really beefs up everything. There's not near as much wiggle. Everything's stable and taut now. You could, if you wanted, before you hot glued these rods on, paint them white. Aesthetically, it would look a little bit better. When it's in flight, you don't see these rods at all. Doesn't affect the flight characteristic at all, but it really beefs everything up. The added advantage is, I believe, is that it strengthens it in case of a crash. Now, I fly a lot on a golf course with a GoPro, which is what's taking this picture now. And a few days ago, I was flying it, taking a picture of some of the ladies playing golf, and I was watching the ladies play golf and not looking at the plane. Well, I flew into a tree. I wasn't flying at full throttle, but I was flying at a pretty good clip. These rods busted off when it went fully into the tree. These rods busted off from the hot glue, but nothing in the tail was damaged at all. I believe these rods being here also helped protect this when it crashed, because it wasn't quite as flimsy. All I did is re-glue these on real quick. So there you go. I hope this helps, and it's worked very well for me. I don't see any flutter. I don't see any of that fishtailing. Like I say, I've had this plane through 60, 70 flights. I usually fly at full throttle, steep dives, tight turns, barrel rolls, flips, flying inverted. I don't see any of that fishtailing anymore. It has really made this a stable unit. I hope this works for you.